Hello, welcome to a podcast about mythical creatures and folklore about Native Americans. Probably. That was the worst way I could have done
That
that.
was the worst.
Don't pause it. This is staying in.
Oh god, yeah, carry on.
My name is Connor Chapman. I'm joined by
Will Daly, of course.
Zeke.
Mia.
And
And,
today we're going to be talking about urban legends and folklore from Native Americans. So, today we're going to be starting off with the one and only Skinwalker.
That's me, isn't it?
Yeah.
I am built like a skinwalker.
Are you?
I think so.
Oh.
I mean, I know quite a lot of folklore surrounding skinwalkers.
Do I look like a skinwalker? Like,
No,
fucking.
you'd have to be much thinner.
I swear they're like.
Thanks.
I swear they're like very weird, crooked things.
Well, they're,
Sort of.
they're similar to humans in a sort of weird way, but their hands and limbs are usually longer. They're a lot more thinner, so like verge of starvation. So like you can see like their rib cage and stuff.
I'm pretty sure that's where they came from as well, because usually like. They would
They
be-
came from the Native Americans because obviously after the British came along and took all their shit. Oh, sorry, I can't.
This is a great start to the podcast. Brilliant start.
Anyway, so since they hunted all the buffalo, they were all starving, and the myth is that they will turn into like this feral creature, and what they'll do, they'll shapeshift into animals to trick people into coming over to them, and then they eat them, obviously.
I swear they have like multiple forms as well. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
just
they can.
a crooked, weird individual that is lurking.
Well, yeah, because they're
in your back
shapeshifters.
garden.
So,
Yeah, it's
They
like
do
a
just
boggart
sort-
from Harry Potter.
what the fuck is that?
You don't know what a boggart is?
No, I don't.
Okay.
You might need to censor all the swearing. Anyway, there's a lot of common sightings in places like Mexico and Spain.
Why there?
Because that's where they live. Like
yeah, that's
the
where the myth
Navajo.
originates from, so.
Well, yeah, because like Mexico was like kind of their last straw, wasn't it? Their last like area.
Well, that's where they according to some like theories I've seen, that's where they migrate. Apparently, there's also a lot of common sightings in New Orleans, from what I've heard. I'm not sure if that's true though.
Well, I
haven't
mean,
seen
there were
any
tribes
evidence.
everywhere, so
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
like,
they're probably everywhere.
So they just lurk around.
well, they
that
shapeshift into
side of the planet.
animals, and they wait for people to like either like come in their general
So
vicinity.
does that mean my dog could be a shapeshifter? Could be a skinwalker?
Well, if you hang around your dog and it turns into a human and starts chasing you, yes.
It hasn't happened just yet.
Well, it would do it.
It's gonna happen.
It
It's
might-
gonna happen.
It's just gonna happen. Is it? My dog's gonna
Skinwalkers
turn
have
into a
like the
skinwalker.
same psyche of animals, sort of. They're like just hunt, you know.
What does annoy me is all the people on TikTok saying that if their animal is acting slightly strange, oh my god, it's a skinwalker. Like, shut up.
No,
Just be quiet.
Well, they
Your
wouldn't
dog's ill.
disguise as house pets because, well, they're mostly spotted like out in like places where there is wildlife and there's not many people
But,
around.
but what is like the most common animal they shape?
Probably an elk.
There's not really a common. There's not really a common animal as far as I'm aware, but mostly they probably just shapeshift into stuff that is seen in the local area, so rabbits, cows. So I saw a TikTok of someone who apparently said that Skywalker shapeshifted into a cow, a horse. And
Okay, I might be thinking of Wendigos here, but don't they like mimic sounds of animals as
Oh,
well?
no, that's Wendigo.
Yeah, because Wendigos usually mimic like elk sounds or deer sounds or moose sounds.
Yeah.
yeah.
But they do it but they can also mimic like voices.
So does
of,
that
like-
mean,
of,
right,
like,
if I was walking
trusted
through
ones?
the wilderness, right, and I saw some deer and it just changed into some man and he just started chasing after
No,
me?
it's more of if
I
it
should
stands
run.
on your hind leg. It stands on its hind legs and pronounces your exact death date in 20 years. Then you run away.
Well, no.
Yeah, 100%.
Common
100%.
signs of Wendigos are usually sometimes they'll bury bones in like gardens or backyards, and that's a sign that one of them wants to hunt you.
Bones of what?
Animals,
anything, like animals.
people, anything they've killed
Cheer,
recently.
isn't it?
Yeah.
But if you well, they don't hunt during the day, so they stay as an animal during the day, and then they start hunting at night like an animal,
Mhm.
kind of like wolves, but not
Fair enough. I swear they're like, apparently, from what I've heard, they're like, they are very, their bones crack, they are just very weird, walk on their four legs, and their head is snapped backwards.
Oh yeah, they can do that definitely. Yeah.
Fair enough. That is some weird. Imagine like walking, like in like some random path, walking down a path, and you just see that just walking across the path. Mate, I would run.
Well, there's ways to like ward off supernatural creatures.
Can you kill it?
Probably not.
You probably could, but
10,
I wouldn't recommend
9,
trying.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can't help it.
It's just not good.
Do you like my bad to the
Cut
bone?
that out in post, please.
No, leave it in.
I'm gonna cut that.
We'll go edit it ourselves. We don't use the same one to everyone else.
Oh, I'm just gonna use the.
So do they eat animals or just humans?
They eat animals and humans.
Everything, to be honest.
Yeah, they like I said, they're predators. All they do is hunt.
Is that all they do?
Yeah.
It's just hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Basically, yeah.
And they eat human flesh.
Well, and animals too.
Well, ending on that cheery note, I think we should talk about Wendigo
Oh, I love
because
Yeah.
they're very interesting creatures.
I would argue that Wendigos are more interesting than Skinwalkers,
They are definitely.
purely because of the the whole folklore and mythology
Yeah,
behind it.
I love the origins of the Wendigo. So, during the winters in Native American, they obviously their crops were failing. The buffalo all left. They didn't have much to eat. So they started eating each other, and obviously the human psyche can't handle that kind of guilt. So they made up a myth that once you eat someone else, you turn into this creature that doesn't want nothing else but to eat other people. So it's similar to a skinwalker, but they're depicted very differently because they're closer to animals than they are to humans. Wendigos.
So does that mean if a human eats another human, that technically makes them count as a Wendigo?
In Native American folklore, yes.
Fair enough. So that means that someone could eat someone, and then for the rest of their life, they could be known as a Wendigo. That's actually insane.
I suppose so, but I think in modern day you'd just be known as a cannibal instead of a Wendigo.
Jeffrey Dahmer we're looking at.
Has anyone ever seen a Wendigo?
I've made drawings and costumes of Wendigos, yeah.
Has anyone ever seen a Skinwalker?
I actually do believe I've seen a Skinwalker, which is
Really?
really scary. So, it's said that the more you say or talk about Skinwalkers, the more you attract them to you. And so, me and my friend Daniel, we were doing research for like years on Skinwalkers and Wendigos, right? And so we went up to this woods behind Hazelwood. Hazelwood is a school where I live. There's a woods right next to it, and there's an electric fence running around it. And so we go down this little crevice near this main road, and there's like a woods there, and all we see is this thing just hunched over by a fucking dead fox or some shit. And we just turn a fucking heel and run straight back home. Sorry. We turn heel and run back because, fuck that. If you see a hunched over skinny human being eating a dead fox, I think you're gonna be a bit like, no, fuck that. Yeah, I got the fuck out of there. It was terrifying.
I haven't seen a skinwalker, but I have seen something of supernatural nature. So there's this goddess called Persephone, which she's the goddess of spring. So every year she emerges from the underworld to bring back spring, and she takes the form of a very large hare. And one day I was taking a walk, and there's like this big field, like lots of animals usually go there, and I saw this hare just sitting in the field, and it was bloody massive. Like it was much bigger than your average hare, because we don't usually get hares in this country, mostly rabbits.
I've seen a few hares.
It wasn't as big as the one I saw. Trust me.
I've seen a few hairs on my head. Get it?
Way!
Way!
There's no need for the comedy. Yeah, but what were you saying?
So it like turned and it was staring at me for like a good couple minutes, and so
So you had a staring contest with a hair?
no, I got my silver necklace, I kissed it, and I ran off.
Maybe it was just a friendly hair that just wanted to have a staring
No,
contest.
it was bloody massive. That thing was like, there was a sheet next to it. It was like half it tight. That is not the average size of a hair.
It's just some man in like some suit.
To be fair though,
The Easter Bunny.
I would be terrified if I saw a hair half the size of a sheep, like
Well,
fucking
that's where the
table
Easter
size
Bunny
like that.
came from.
Like, ugh, fuck that. I'd be out.
Because obviously the Easter Bunny has nothing to do with the resurrection of Jesus, and the Easter
Yeah,
Bunny
he does.
No, it doesn't.
Wait, Jesus doesn't have anything to do with what?
Easter.
Well,
Easter.
the resurrection of Jesus has nothing to do with Easter or the Easter Bunny. Because, like, during Easter, it's supposed to be a Christian celebration. They, like, give out, like, Easter Bunny whatevers. And it originated, like, in the Dark Ages because, while the Christians were trying to wipe out the pagans, they stole a lot of their traditions.
Yes, but the thing is that going off topic here. When you were saying that the resurrection of Jesus doesn't have anything to do Easter, doesn't it mean like I swear Easter's like the born of life?
Yeah, but that's not the point I was making. The point is the resurrection of Jesus has nothing to do with the Easter rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah, he
at
is.
what point in that part of the Bible mentions a rabbit involved with Jesus' resurrection?
Jesus himself.
So Jesus
No,
is
Jesus is represented
Jesus
as a
is-
so
lamb
Jesus
in
is the
Bible.
Easter bunny.
No,
Yeah.
Jesus is represented as a lamb in the Bible.
He's the Easter lamb.
Well, then why is it a rabbit then?
I don't know, it lays eggs.
Well, talking about rabbits and bunnies and big hairy creatures, why don't we talk about a werewolf?
Oh, I love
Because a
werewolves.
werewolf is a very interesting thing because there's so many stereotypes of a werewolf. Because like you can have a man that changes into a werewolf when it sees a full moon. There's so many different.
Well, I know where werewolves originally came from.
Where?
So in Egypt, there was a breakout of rabies, and so what they do, they take the person and chain them to a tree and leave them out in the desert. And they came back at night, and the person was just absolutely feral, like growling, foaming at the mouth. So they were like, "Oh, it's kind of like a wolf."
So he's probably just been.
So it
Yeah.
was just a guy with rabies.
Yeah, they thought because they thought it was like some sort of supernatural thing. Because obviously they didn't know what rabies was, so they thought it was lycanthropy.
That's the word.
Yep.
Got there in the
Was-
end.
Usually they're depicted as like, fucking, what's it called? Just weird gremlin men turning into a big hairy wolf, and then getting mad bitches.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, is that the actual werewolf itself apparently isn't hairy at all. It's
Skin.
just skin.
It depends like where you read it from, because there are like thousands of years worth of vampire and like werewolf folklore, so they all really depend on what country you read it from.
Yeah, because there's so many different countries that do
Mm.
just talk about absolute
Well,
absolute
in
rubbish.
like Dark Ages, yeah, it was quite a topic of conversation back then, I would assume, because that's where most of the books came from.
Like the Book of the Dead.
Do you know the legend of Irish Jack?
No.
He was a drunken man in Ireland, like a couple centuries back, and he made a deal with the devil, and I'm pretty sure it was like, he basically tricked the devil in a drinking game and turned him into a coin, and said, "You have to let me out." And he says, "If I let you out, you got to promise to never take me to hell when I die." And so he lets him out. He makes a deal with the devil, and he never goes to hell. But when he dies, God basically says, "Well, you ain't coming up here." And then he tries to go back down to hell, to Satan, to say, "Let me in. I've got nowhere to go." It was like, "You forgot the deal we made." And so basically, the devil made a lantern with an eternal flame out of a pumpkin and gave it to Jack. And so Jack now roams the land for some fucking reason with a lantern in a pumpkin of eternal flame, and that is where a jack-o'-lantern comes from, where our pumpkins come from, basically.
That is sick.
That's That's interesting.
I never knew that.
Hmm.
I just thought that it was like, because I thought it was just, I thought the way that we got jack-o'-lanterns and pumpkins is because pumpkins grew this time of year. So it was just like,
Well, I'm pretty sure that's the legend. I may have got a few things wrong, but
Reminds me a lot of Scottish Gaelic traditions I've heard from a friend of mine because he was Scottish, and what they used to do to ward off evil spirits when they moved into a new house, they'd get a black cat, slit its throat open, and hide it inside the walls.
okay,
So-
that took a dark
that
turn
was a
so quickly.
horrific turn. Jesus.
I was literally just sitting back relaxing, listening to this,
They are-
and I just hear a rabbit has had its throat slit.
No, a cat.
A cat
black
had
cat.
a black cat.
That is racist.
Witches.
Well, actually, in Wiccan folklore, black cats are good luck.
In normal folklore, they're bad luck.
Yeah, they're very bad. If you see a
They're
black
not.
cat,
They're not.
They're-
Well,
So-
according to my belief system.
yeah, but the
they're
thing
not.
is, right, is that witches were actually real though. Like back in medieval
Oh, Wiccans
times.
and Druids are very real. It's just that not enough people nowadays take it very seriously because there's all these girls on TikTok like, I'm a witch, I'll turn you into a frog, blah blah blah. Like,
Yeah, and
shut up, you don't know what you're talking about.
I think that this day and age has changed a lot when it comes to like folklore and stuff. Because like a witch back in medieval times would have either been burnt, hung, or hanged, drawn, and quartered, or even drowned. But now it's just seen as like a Halloween
Event. Like,
Event.
it's just,
Yeah.
or some quirky fucking e-girl will get into it on TikTok and be like,
Well, Wiccans and Bards and Druids are still very real. If you go up in Glastonbury, the culture's still very alive.
do you know what a medium is?
Yeah, isn't it someone
Somebody
who
can see and speak
like,
to the dead.
communicate to ghosts and stuff? I think that's bullshit, personally, but you know.
I like the idea of it, but until I see undeniable proof, until I open my third eye, I'm not fucking believing it.
I once tried doing like a Ouija board thing with my girlfriend, and she's pretending that she had like this friend ghost called Stacy, but I know the ghost wasn't real because she was the only one who'd move like the little triangle thing on the Ouija board. I'd be like, why can't you let me do it? She'd be like, no, your energy isn't right.
I don't believe in a Ouija boards because every time I've seen them,
I would prefer to use a pendulum, honestly. Because
Oh,
right, so if you
pendulums are bullshit.
yeah, but if you lock yourself in like an
pendulum?
airtight room,
It's like a necklace, and so you say show me yes, and it will swing one way, and then you'll say show me no, and it will swing the other.
so it's
then
like
you
the
can,
Charlie thing.
Yeah.
The pencil.
But instead, the reason why the pendulum swings is because gravity is a thing, people.
get in an airtight room, just hang it, have it still for like an entire hour, have it just hang there, no movement at all, then make sure.
The reason why I don't think
That's what I
the
would do.
Ouija boards are real is that because you have your finger on them. Some guy could just randomly move it and they make such a big deal out of it, and even though it's just like
They don't take a lot of effort to move either.
Timmy was sitting next to him, like moving it.
They don't take a lot of effort to move either, so it's easy to fake a Ouija board.
Yeah.
I
You're
don't
not
really.
even supposed to push your finger against it. You're supposed to hover it slightly above.
And then isn't your finger supposed to follow?
Besides, I feel like if a
You
ghost
don't have to follow it. You just have to hold your finger over the center of the board. You can let it move away from your finger.
I feel like if a ghost wanted to communicate to you as well, it'd probably do it itself.
Yeah.
Like maybe don't bother the spirits because I don't think they give a shit about your pathetic mortal life.
Yeah, and they've got better things to do, to be
Yeah.
That is the best way to say it. They don't give a shit about your mortal life.
Thank you.
honest. Mate, they live their life and now they're just chilling, bobbing around, and
There's
nobody
also
can see
this
them.
belief from my mother's religion that when you die, you'll cross what's called the Bridge of Swords. And
Bridge
during
of Swords. That's like the
Elden Ring boss.
yeah, and also the Chair of Swords from Game of Thrones.
I
oh,
hate
the
you.
Iron Throne.
The Iron Throne.
Yeah, but it's made out of
it's-
swords. How is it iron? Just sword throne.
Yeah.
It's made of swords.
Sword chair.
I mean,
I want a sword chair now.
and my mum says on Halloween that your loved ones will actually be able to cross the Bridge of Swords and come back to this plane. So you normally leave out gifts for them.
That's very. That reminds me of very Mexican, like the Day of the
Yeah,
Dead.
yeah.
That's what I said to her. It's very similar belief.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Like, there's so many different countries that like have the same idea but portray it so differently.
Yeah, like with the Norwegians and the Germans. The Norwegians believed in Odin and Thor, and the Germans believed in Woden.
Woden.
Yeah,
And
they're-
war.
Yeah, well,
Which is a name actually war.
I can't remember. I'm not very good at German. But the best comparison I can make is Odin, Woden, and they were practically the same god, so they had the same idea at the time. Not to mention, pagans in Egypt believed that if they boiled wine and poured it over a wound, it would get rid of the evil spirits. Because the Druids were much farther with medical discoveries than the Christians were during the Dark Ages.
That's quite a load of crap, to be honest. Because to be honest, medieval times in the UK, if you got a dog to lick your wound, apparently it would heal the wound.
Oh no, not in the UK, in Egypt.
Oh, in Egypt.
Yeah.
Oh.
Although
And the UK sucked.
No, the Druids
We just put potatoes around people's necks. I know that would cure a cold.
Oh no, that was the Christians. The pagans didn't do that.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Well, what else could we talk about?
I don't know. Anything else?
Mm,
I'm thinking. Give me a minute.
Oh.
The Book of the Dead. What's that? It's the I can't pronounce.
what do
it.
you mean book?
That's that.
Yeah.
book.
Oh.
I'm interested. I'm interested to talk
I've never
about that.
actually
Okay.
read the
I
Necronomicon.
haven't. Yeah, I haven't done a lot of research on the Necronomicon, like ever.
Apparently,
It just
apparently,
haven't.
like it's a book with.
It's a spell book on bringing back the dead that was written 1780 something. It's stupidly old.
And it's got like a face carved.
It's
into
got
it.
a face in the front of it, and the face can apparently speak.
That's just from the Evil Dead?
No, it's an actual thing.
Yeah, but they used it in the Evil Dead, and that's all I can think of.
What, Ash vs Evil Dead?
No, like the original film, like Evil Dead.
I've never seen the original. I've seen Ash vs Evil Dead.
You suck.
I mean, the only thing that I can, because I don't know much about the Necronomicon, the only thing I can think of similar to that is what's called Book of Shadows.
The Book of
And
Shadows.
yeah, what Druids and Wiccans would usually do is that they would write about their learnings about their god, and write about all the spells they've done so that they can keep track of their progress.
It's like a witch's book.
Yeah.
So pretty much. So the I can't even pronounce
I
it.
have a few Book of Shadows.
Right. Repeat after me. Necro.
Necro.
Nomicon.
Nomicon.
Necronomicon.
Necronomicon.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Speech and language lessons with Concham. Yeah, but it's just there's so many just different things that so many different cultures believe in, but like put their own twist to it,
Mm.
which is really really cool.
Like most Abrahamic religions, I mean, what?
What is an Abrahamic religion?
So
actually?
Abrahamic religion is basically like, for instance, Judaism.
Abraham Lincoln.
No, Abrahamic as in like Abraham the prophet.
Who is Prophet Abraham?
Oh, okay.
Hinduism.
I know the joke you're trying to make.
No, I actually don't know what the fuck is going on. I know about Prophet Muhammad for Islam.
Well, like my Abrahamic religions are like the most common, like the Jewish, for instance.
Isn't
That's-
Muhammad and Jesus basically the same person?
I don't
Oh,
know. I don't know if I should
'Cause, like,
say
Jesus-
my opinion on
Because like
that.
Jesus
Yeah,
was a
I
prophet of
wouldn't.
God, right?
Yeah, let's cut this short. This is going to be very controversial.
This is
And then
conversation.
Muhammad was the prophet of Allah.
I mean, in most concepts, most Abrahamic.
Right, let's stop there
No,
before we get too controversial and we get cancelled.
I actually prefer the religion of it.
Cancelled doesn't affect me.
I prefer the religion of Islam instead of Christianity.
Okay. Why are we talking about religion? We're
I
gonna
mean,
get
I
cancelled.
have a theory that God is just 3 gins in a trench coat. Well, it's because in the Bible, the story of Moses learns about God.
Why don't we just talk about like aliens? Because like aliens is a very, very good topic to talk about.
I mean, I suppose so. That actually reminds me. My dad's is like obsessed with aliens.
Oh, I love a good alien.
Like, so do you watch like I think it's like Channel 4 or something, where they have like this alien, like this program about how aliens basically built the world in their image and like how we're just a test or something.
Do you think that that's real though?
Not really, no. So I believe in aliens. Like, there's a
Okay,
whole
yeah.
thing about the Andromeda solar system. Not the solar system, the Andromeda system. Ours is the solar system or the Helios system. Andromeda system. Apparently, a couple of years ago, NASA received like a message from the Andromeda system that took like 60 years to send. And so, basically, we've we've only just received this message recently, and apparently it's like an SOS signal or something. But
I would not trust a SOS signal
from
in
another
space.
galaxy.
From another galaxy.
Yeah.
Because like, it's funny because like the and the galaxy is just, and space is massive. Like it's like humongous. Like I don't think anyone could ever like comprehend how big it actually is, and it's expanding on a daily basis.
I was gonna say, yeah, when you think about how the universe is expanding, like at the last time it was like measured, like in a hypothetical, it was like 4.5 billion light years long.
Yeah.
From one side to the other. If you realize how long a light year is,
That's 100 million years, isn't it?
I don't know how long it is. It's long. It's stupidly long. But it's like 100 million, quintillion, trillion, billion years, something like that. I don't know, but it's incredibly long when you think about it.
Yeah.
And there's also the multiverse. There's also a theory of the multiverse being real, so like other universes colliding with ours.
Have
Like,
you heard of the Great Filter theory?
I think so. Yeah. Go ahead, because I think I need reminded
the Great
for this.
Filter is a theory that is based on the premise that if there is alien life out there, how comes they haven't contacted us yet? Which leaves like 3 possibilities. 1, they've already gone extinct. 2, there's nothing out there. And 3, they do not want to contact us.
There's definitely something out there.
There's got to be something out there.
We cannot be the only planet in the world, in the whole of the 4.5 billion light years.
We
away,
can't be the only planet in the world.
in the world.
You dumb.
We can't be the only planet in the world. We can't be the only planet in the biggest space in the world. Well, that's
You are
fantastic English. This podcast is going brilliant.
Shut up, right? So, there's no way that we can be the only planet in space
Yeah,
or in the universe,
that's
because
what I was
there's
gonna
already
say.
other.
I was going to say that.
Well, there probably are habitable planets, but the theory is they possibly drove themselves to extinction.
No,
Right?
well, probably yeah, like extinction. But there are planets very similar to Earth, if not bigger, that we could actually live on and sustain ourselves on.
Yeah.
That's why Elon Musk
Light
is trying to
years away.
terraform Mars.
Light year. Mars is the only planet in our solar system that we can colonize,
Probably, yeah.
because everything else is a gas planet.
I mean, that would be good.
Well,
in
not really.
the research.
Venus would be good, but
It's too
It-
close.
Venus would be good, but it's too close to the sun and acid rain. Like, no, I'm good.
I'm good, thanks. I'm not going to be walking down the street. trying to get to my
Jupiter
local
and
Tesco's.
Neptune and Uranus are all gas planets, and the gravity would literally crush you in an instant. There's no point going
Yeah,
there.
I wouldn't be surprised in some other galaxies.
Saturn as well.
I wouldn't
That's
be
also.
surprised if there's in
Did I say Saturn? No, I said Jupiter, Neptune, and Uranus. Uranus.
Oh, hey.
But yeah, no, Saturn's also a gas planet. Pluto. To be fair, we could live on one of Jupiter's moons or Saturn's moons. I don't know which one it is.
Hear
'Cause
me out, though. Do you ever
Jupiter's
think that
moon's high.
terraforming could go wrong, because if you send a bunch of bugs to terraform, what if they start to evolve?
Yeah. Are you thinking of terraformers?
Yes, I've watched that film. When I hear terraforming another planet, it's like, no.
We never said about like sending bugs to terraform. We terraform ourselves, but it's the whole idea that something could, like you said, something could go wrong, and like obviously, because over time humans would adapt to Mars's atmosphere and gravity and everything.
Yeah, but like, say you send some people there, they evolve, they lose sense of humanity. We go there to live there because we're running out of space here.
They kill us.
Yeah.
They act like they
That's the
decimate
thing,
the human
though,
race.
Like, because let's be honest, in about like 50 to 100 years, resource wars are gonna happen.
Yeah.
That is going to be a thing. And if the planet's already gone and done by then, unless we have already terraformed another planet, we're basically like all going to go into like this apocalyptic state back to primal age and then go extinct or something.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, a
scary
supernova
thing.
is set to happen in like 5 billion years, maybe 5 million.
I don't
And the
know.
apparently in 5 million years the sun will die out and the solar system will end.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I love thinking about it. It's
I've
my
got
favorite.
a life to live. I don't want to think about my sun blowing up.
Well,
No,
you've
I
got
already
about 80 years out of 5 billion, so get used to it.
Yeah.
You've got ages.
Yeah, I've got plenty of time. I just think that it's just a really weird thing to think about, that we were put on this planet and we are considering moving to a different planet.
Well, yeah, like because we've, we've basically fucked everything up.
Because of the capitalists.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for capitalism, we could have probably lifted the carbon footprint by now.
Yeah, but if we move.
Corporations refuse to shut down all their stuff.
Yeah,
and
but
stop
capitalism
making
works
money,
for us. If we move to communism, our society would fall. It would crumble.
Socialism will work.
I don't know what
it-
socialism is.
It's basically. It's kind of like communism, but not communism.
Communism, but less extreme.
Yeah, communism
So, like-
without the oppression.
So like a normal functioning society.
Yeah.
Okay. I do believe socialism would work, but it would take a lot of time to get used to. Because obviously, we've had capitalism for like, what, centuries now?
Yeah.
Like, if we were to change it to literally anything else, society would probably crumble within a day.
Well, ending on that note, on that cheery note, I think we have to finish this episode, don't we?
Yeah.
So, thank you
That's
very much
awesome.
for joining. I've been joined by Connor Chapman.
Hello.
Liam, and Zeke.
Fine.
And, yeah, it's been a good one. I've enjoyed it.
Not
Yeah.
even say me as a name though.
I did say me, yeah.
No, you didn't. You
Yes,
just
I
said
did.
yeah.
I said you, me. Right, on that bombshell.
Right on
We'll
this
see you
bombshell
later.
podcast. Goodbye.